We all know someone who doesn't eat the crust. After eating a piece of toast or a sandwich, their plates end up looking like a crime scene. It made me think, how much crust is thrown out each year? The definition of crust in the dictionary is the top outer part of a loaf of bread. We're going to be factoring in two types of crust, the outer crust from the middle of the loaf and the two slices on the end. According to the North London Waste Authority, 43% of households in London are throwing away crusts, and 15% don't eat the ends of sliced loaves. Across the UK, 1.2 billion bread crusts are binned every year, equivalent to 59 million loaves of bread or nearly 63 million pounds. If we assume these rates remain consistent and the amount of bread eaten is the same in all areas of the world, with the population of 7.743 billion in 2019, it results in 6,819,993,811.71 loaves of crusty bread at a value of 9 billion USD. If the crusty loaf was converted into calories, the equivalent energy could be used to fly a Boeing 747 for nearly 75,000 hours. While this gives us an idea about how much crust is wasted, it probably isn't very accurate. It could be assumed that the statistics in the UK will also be roughly the same in North America, some parts of South America, and Australia because of the similar culture for bread. But other parts of the world may take a different approach to bread and its crust. It's quite common to hear from someone who went on a recent trip to Europe talk about how much better the quality of bread is over there. On average, Europeans seem to value good quality bread, while in the States or the UK, accessibility, price, and volume is more of a concern. Also, the European Union, Brazil, and China have all banned chemicals such as potassium bromate in food products that have been added to some loaves of bread in the US. It seems as though even if the loaves of bread in Europe have the same amount of crust, because of its higher quality and the lack of extra chemicals used to hasten production, the crust tastes just as good as the rest of the bread, meaning it'll be less likely to be thrown away. In the African region, the standard loaf of bread doesn't seem to be popular. Alternatively, flat bread such as the harsha from Morocco or kisra in Sudan seems to be more commonly consumed. These types of bread lack the crust seen on supermarket bread, and because of the pairing with soup or stew, the bread will most likely leave little to no waste. Similarly, in Asia, the majority of bread products don't have a crust. In China, a strip of deep-fried flour is called youtiao and is dipped in soybean milk during breakfast. Another common food is mantou, which is steamed bread so there's no crust to eat or throw away. In India, flat bread like roti or naan are served with curry, stew, and kebabs, which also have no crust. If we look at the countries with the highest bread consumption per capita, Turkey tops the list at 150 kilograms of bread per person each year, and even achieved a world record in the year 2000 with 199.6 kilograms of bread consumed on average per person. If we look at the popular types of bread eaten, yufka, somun, and simit, they all lack a distinct crust. However, if we look at a Turkish pide, there looks to be what might be called a crust. But if they're eating an average of 150 kilograms of bread each year, it's safe to say they're probably eating the crust as well. With all these factors considered, the true waste of bread crust worldwide is probably just a small fraction of the number we calculated before. So how do we fix the problem of wasted crust? Yes, we could tell people to eat them as breadsticks, dip them in chocolate as churros, or we could even export them all to France to use as croutons. But food waste has been a problem for decades. Save a loaf a week, help win the war. This poster was from the United States Food Administration, encouraging citizens at home to be conscious of their consumption choices so these resources could be sent to the soldiers. A similar campaign was run in the UK. Save the wheat and help the fleet. Eat less bread. Don't waste bread, save 2 slices every day and defeat the U-boat. It sounds a bit far-fetched as to how eating less bread would help the fleet miles away. But during World War I, Britain imported most of their food from the USA, which were carried on merchant ships. However, German submarines were in the Atlantic Ocean, which made them a target to be sunk. These posters don't directly refer to saving the crust, as it was a given that all the bread was eaten, but it places an emphasis on reducing food wasted. While I do believe we should eat the crust on our bread, for crust haters, I can see that it'll be hard to justify spending $30 on crustless bread, when that same $30 could get you almost 10 times the amount of a regular loaf. But I guess that depends on how close to the crust you bite. Thanks for watching. If you've ever been tempted to squeeze a lemon on the Eiffel Tower, check out my video on how long it will take for the tower to crumble.